Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to take the absolute chaos of the action thriller WARPATH and untangle it. If you've seen the film, you know it throws you right into the deep end. Dirty cops, cartel middlemen, and a rogue operative just tearing the whole thing down. Honestly, it can be a lot to keep track of. But understanding the gears turning behind the scenes, getting into the character motives, that's exactly what makes these high-stakes thrillers so incredibly satisfying. So let's just jump right in and make sense of it all.
Right off the bat, we get hit with this chilling opening line. I mean, wow. It perfectly sets the tone, right? Dallas, our main guy, absolutely refuses to leave his past behind. He is on a total collision course with the criminal underworld. He wants answers, and he is perfectly fine leaving a massive trail of destruction in his wake to get them.
To help us map out all these overlapping motives and that crazy high-octane action, we're going to break this explainer down into 5 clear chapters. The rogue weapon unleashed, Lars's middleman mess, Iris and the desert trap, the underground compound rescue, and lastly, the true masterminds revealed.
Let's kick things off with Chapter 1, The Rogue Weapon Unleashed.
Okay, so Dallas isn't just a guy. He's literally defined by the people around him as a weapon, and a highly venomous one at that. We learn he actually started out as this broken, terrified kid fresh out of juvie, just completely consumed by rage. One character even describes him as being venomous toward everyone. But here's the kicker. He didn't just outgrow that anger. Instead, it was shaped. It was honed. As we hear in the dialogue, the age is still part of the rage. But now he knows exactly who to bite. He's this targeted asset, totally unleashed on the underworld.
Which brings us right into Part 2, Lars's middleman mess.
So Dallas has basically taken this tangled web of competing factions and thrown a massive wrench into it. Look at Lars. The guy's essentially a glorified middleman, right? He's connecting services for biker gangs and the cartel. But Dallas has been running across the country, literally blowing up Lars's operations and ripping away his top cover. Now Lars is sweating bullets. I mean, he answers to some genuinely terrifying people. And the cartels and bikers? Yeah, they don't exactly care about excuses when their shipments get disrupted. And to make matters worse, federal elements like Merit are watching Lars like a hawk to make sure their own tracks stay covered. Dallas isn't just hurting Lars here. He is collapsing the entire criminal ecosystem.
And that desperation brings us to this insane number, $5 million. Lars is so desperate to fix this monumental mess that he slaps a $5 million street bounty on Dallas's head just to draw him out. I mean, Lars is bleeding money, his reputation is totally shot, and his bosses are losing patience fast. He absolutely needs Dallas dead, or at the very least captured, so he can figure out who on earth is backing this one-man army.
That bounty sets the stage for Part 3, Iris and the Desert Trap.
Lars knows exactly what he's doing here. He leverages Iris, and more importantly, her innocent daughter, as the ultimate bait. See, Lars understands the psychology of his enemy. He knows Dallas tragically lost his own daughter, so by putting a child in the crosshairs, Lars is betting everything that Dallas will walk straight into his snare. And well, Dallas does exactly that. Remember when that well-meaning cab driver warns him? He tells Dallas he's heading out into the middle of nowhere, completely unarmed, to face down actual monsters. And Dallas just says he has to go. The trauma of his past is literally dictating his present. Now, even with these incredibly grim stakes in the desert, the script still leans into those classic macho action tropes we all love. Listen to this. You're about as useless as a three-legged chair. It's just perfect. Even when our guy is captured, tied up, and staring down a whole compound of heavily armed guards, they still find time to hurl these fantastic, cheeky insults at each other. It's such a hallmark of the genre, giving us that quick release valve for the tension right before the bullets start flying again.
And fly they do, leading us to Part 4, The Underground Compound Rescue.
The clock is seriously ticking now as authorities close in on Lars's hidden desert compound. Because Dallas actually let himself be captured, his allies on the outside are able to track him. They deploy drone surveillance equipped with heat sensors over the desert. Then, about 20 minutes out, they realize something crucial. Lars isn't hiding in a normal building. They are tracking an underground shipping container. At 0 hour, the authorities finally breach the gate to storm the hatch. But of course, in all that chaos, Lars, being the ultimate survivor, manages to slip away.
But man, while that timeline is playing out above ground, Dallas is enduring absolute hell down below. He has to push through this incredibly punishing sequence just to make sure the mission succeeds. First off, he's forced to withstand brutal torture and pentothal injections from Patrick Tanner, a hired Special Forces operative. But Dallas just refuses to break. He relies on this immense, almost superhuman physical endurance to stall just long enough for the authorities to breach the hatch. And you know what's really telling? His ultimate victory here isn't actually catching Lars, it's securing Iris and her daughter. He personally makes sure they get safe passage to a place Lars can never find them, a promise backed right by the US government.
The dust settles, but we aren't done. Here's part 5, the true masterminds revealed.
Right before the film drops its final twist, it quickly sweeps up a few narrative loose ends to set up Dallas's next mission. We get confirmation that his ally, Trish, tragically lost her life during that hotel shootout earlier. On top of that, the authorities uncover this massive conspiracy inside the police department. Detective Roberts actually faked his own death, and his partner, Linwood, is the one being framed for the murder. So, boom, Dallas immediately has a brand new target and a new thread to pull.
But hold on a second, because this brings us to the ultimate question, the one that completely recontextualizes the entire movie. Up until this point, we've kind of assumed Dallas was this righteous avenger, independently tearing through a cartel middleman, right? But if Lars was really just a pawn, who was actually moving the pieces on the board?
We get this incredibly chilling revelation in the final moments of the film. Vonner, Ivan, and Blue, they were actually engineering this entire scenario from behind a desk the whole time. To them, Dallas isn't a person, he's a runaway asset. The blind man made a weapon, sure, but now this shadowy government-backed cabal has decided they need to take the reins. And honestly, the most sickening part? They openly admit to using Iris as unsanctioned bait just to test their rogue asset. They literally put innocent lives in the crosshairs just to see how their weapon would perform under pressure.
So I want to leave you with this thought to ponder. Throughout WARPATH, Dallas fights with just unparalleled ferocity to avenge his past and protect the innocent. Yet the explosive events of the film prove that his entire crusade was being monitored, manipulated, and ultimately utilized by a higher power. It really makes you wonder, are the deadliest enemies the ones actively shooting at you out in the desert, or the ones sitting comfortably in the shadows, sipping a drink with 3 pieces of ice, just giving the orders? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this structured breakdown helped you master the chaos. Keep asking questions, keep looking past the surface, and I'll see you next time.
Hello Hollywood movie lovers, can you watch the story? Hey YouTube, this is my reel and I'm editing. Please subscribe this person. His name says subscribe. Okay guys, thank you.